Hey teachers, my name is Ed Hegemann. I'm a coordinator in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area, and I'm excited this year to be a part of the Lesson Gems team and look forward to trying to share some ideas with you each week that hopefully will bless you in your lesson preparations. So let's jump right in this week as we cover Helaman 13 through 16. Remember, this week there are 4 lessons covering Samuel the Lamanite's sermon. So this first day is simply going to focus on how you can help students understand the role of prophets and how prophets can help us. If I was teaching this to a seminary class, I would give them each a blank piece of paper and tell them that they have 1 minute to diagram Lehi's dream as found in 1 Nephi chapter 8. It's up to you if you want to let them look at chapter 8 for a minute or not, but then go ahead and time them for 1 minute. Tell them to keep it really simple because they only have a minute. At the end of that minute, have them show their drawings to each other and ooh and ah at the wonderful artists that they are. Have them look and make sure that every part of the dream is included in there. And the reason why I would have them start off with this is the whole lesson for Helaman 13 through 16 today, again, is helping students understand the role of the prophets and how they can help us. We're looking at a group of people who believed and followed the prophets and those who didn't and criticized them as we go through these chapters. So I want them to see then in 1 Nephi 8, we have Lehi at the tree of life inviting people to come to Christ, the tree of life. And you have those in the large and spacious building who are trying to get people to let go of the iron rod, even if they've tasted the fruit, to try to get them to leave and to come over to the large and spacious building. That dream is exactly what we see today, as we have prophets inviting us to come to Christ, and we have those who are trying to get us to leave the church, leave the iron rod, leave the Word of God, leave prophets, and to even turn and to mock them. As a matter of fact, I would want to show them Nephi's vision that he sees of the tree of life, and specifically these verses right here where Nephi sees Christ crucified. He lifted up on the cross and crucified, but after that what he saw was startling and sad. He sees the multitudes of the earth gathered together. He sees them in the large and spacious building, and look at what happens here. Behold the world and the wisdom thereof. This is the Lord speaking unto Nephi when he says, Behold the world and the wisdom thereof. Yea, behold the house of Israel hath he gathered together to fight against the 12 apostles of the Lamb. That is one of the saddest verses in scriptures, that the house of Israel, people who have entered into covenants, end up turning and fighting against the apostles of the Lamb. That sets the foundation for what we're going to talk about today in these chapters right here, and helping the youth to understand the role of prophets and how they can help us, so that our students want to uphold the prophets instead of being stone throwers at prophets. So the rest of the lesson, after doing that little activity with them, hitting 1 Nephi chapter 11, I would jump into these activities that they have right here. And I love these 4 activities that they give you as options to use with your students. And this is going to be key right here. Based on your students' needs and the Spirit's promptings, decide how to do the following activities. And they give you some different options here about how you might want to do that with your students. These are really, really well done, and I wouldn't drift from these at all. I wouldn't adapt these at all. I would just adopt these activities. The only thing you're going to adapt is how you're going to incorporate these in your class. So depending on the number of students you have, whether you put them in small groups or whether you have them work on these individually and then present to the class, you'll be guided as to how to best do that. I want to give you 2 other resources as tools that you might use when you're going through these activities. You might give these to one of the groups to use, or you might just use these at the end of the lesson. One is a Facebook post from Neil L. Andersen, where he tells about it back in 2018, going on a trip with President and Sister Nelson, spending a weekend with them, and hearing Sister Nelson bear testimony of an experience she had from the Lord, letting her know that President Nelson is a living prophet. She said it was repeated twice, but then she explained how she's watched as President Nelson's ability to receive revelation has increased exponentially, and then even tells about how he receives revelation often. She explained he keeps a lined yellow pad of paper beside his bed. Then she declared, in the morning he holds up a half a page to 1.5 page of notes with joy. She goes on to tell about one specific experience she had where she felt impressed to leave the bedroom. 2 hours later, he emerged from the room. Wendy, you won't believe what's been happening. The Lord has given me detailed instruction on what I am to do. This ties in so good, especially with this first activity. A prophet's message is not his own. It comes from the Lord. I would use it right there. Let the group use it, or you may want to use it. It's powerful. The other tool that you may want to use is this talk from Sheri Dew, Prophets Can See Around Corners. It is so good. A lot of you have probably heard this before. If you haven't, check it out. At the end of this talk, she goes through 5 crucial truths about prophets. And it ties in so well with this lesson. She goes through these 5 truths, and she bears such powerful witnesses, a powerful witness that she knows that President Nelson is a prophet of God. I hope by the end of today's lesson that the youth leave with a deeper understanding of why it's so important to follow living prophets, that they understand how these prophets can bless them in their efforts to come to the tree of life, to come to Christ and deepen their conversion to Him and His restored gospel. Thanks, teachers, for all you do. Hopefully this has been helpful as you dive in at the beginning of this year and help to solidify students' testimonies of Jesus Christ and His restored gospel, including living prophets.